What's shaking, Reject Nation? It's your boy Humpelstiltskin coming at you on a hump day afternoon. It's not been a terrific day so far. You ever have one of those mornings where you wake up in just enough time to discover that you failed at something basic? Oh, yeah! So my day's not off to a terrific start, but if there's one thing that never fails to make me feel better, that would be music. And it just so happens that one of my favorite current bands released a new music video just recently, and I thought it would be nice to check that out today. It's also a very sweet song, and Valentine's Day is here, so you probably know AWOLNATION from their hit songs Sail! And other songs too, like Kill Your Heroes, Not Your Fault, I Am, Hollow Moon, Bad Wolf, Passion, Passion. And this is their newest single, Handyman, off their newest album, which just came out, called Here Come the Runts. I'm really enjoying that album so far. AWOLNATION to me is an interesting band. I feel like Aaron Bruno has a very authentic and a very natural voice and a knack for songwriting. I can't think of an AWOLNATION song that I dislike, and especially in the modern pop landscape, I just feel like he's a unique voice. And coming off of the first two albums that are a lot more electronically influenced and a lot more broad in terms of the instrumentation and stuff, I thought it was cool that he decided to bring this album back to a more rootsy feel, to bring forward the guitars and the bass and the drums again, because what I find kind of fascinating about AWOLNATION is that Sail is kind of a bigger moment than I think people realize. That song got huge, obviously, but what it brought with it, to me anyway, is a certain, you know, sound that was on the rise, but I feel like that song really blew it up, and you can see so many people from the contemporary pop and rock scene borrowing some of those dark synth tones. And for a band that arguably helped kind of foster the future of pop and rock music in ways, the sounds that we're hearing now, I thought it was cool of them to break away from those sounds on this album, go back to something a bit more organic. And with that comes this music video. And it's a very sweet song. I've heard the album through a couple times already, and this song every time grabs me by the heartstrings, so I'm really excited to see this video. So without further ado, let's get into this.
I'm a sinner, I will consider I am my father's son. I'm a sinner, season to get unlucky to be alive. I'm a sinner, finished my dinner, now I can go outside. If only yesterday took place tomorrow.
Ah! I think that's the guy from the last video. Is the mix different? Aww, that was really sweet. I gotta imagine that this is perhaps maybe dedicated to his wife or something like that, because I know he did just get married. And that brought a big smile to my face, you know? I gotta say, I do appreciate, especially nowadays, that the music industry has changed and the nature of music videos has changed. You see a bit more of things that aren't so high concept, things that are more performance-based, things that are more quietly conceptual. And I thought this video matched its song really, really well. I mean, it's such a sweet song, and things that are dear always touch me a lot, and I feel like there's a dear element to this. Just that conceit of him looking back as an older man on his life, on his loves, on his passions and whatnot. I thought this was a really beautifully orchestrated music video in a very subtle, simple way, and I appreciate something like that. Like, it's not the flashiest imagery, it's not the highest concept, but I think it marries to the song really well, and it creates something that's kind of heartfelt and universal in the process, very contemplative, and I really appreciate it for that fact. Stuff like that always touches me because I don't hear it much, especially in the popular landscape. I know for sure that he's a student of the Everly Brothers, among other things, and I got kind of a vibe of that in this song. But just as a music video, I thought this was really beautiful in a subtle way, because it's just about him looking back on his life, and I feel like that ties into the vocal theme really well. That, you know, if only yesterday took place tomorrow, I'd pray for sleep, you know, because you want to go back to the glory days and stuff and relive all the wonderful memories, and even down to the way that they shot it. You know, you see Aaron himself always through a window with reflections and stuff. It's always a little fuzzy, and you have ostensibly the older version of him, you know, later on in life, looking back, retracing his steps, revisiting all these places that he went with such passion as a young person. And it's cool in terms of just this song and this album. This is a big moment for them. For Aaron Bruno, he's been in a number of bands before AWOLNATION, and AWOLNATION is the one that really picked up, and he always strikes me as a very thoughtful guy, and this is a very thoughtful music video too. I think all the parts are really sweet. The acoustic versus the electric are balanced really well, and it gets pretty heavy in some of those choruses, but it never loses that feeling at the center of it, that little spark, that sweet feeling. I think it's really heartfelt. I think the video is really heartfelt, and it's kind of beautiful to see the projection of them growing old together, you know, living their lives doing what they love. And I think just the handyman motif is a really sweet one as well, and again, it's exemplified in just the little flourishes of this music video, both as a literal idea of a handyman, but also just that sweet idea of like, I'll be here to pick you up and sort of help you repair the little things, the daily things, the life things. It's really heartfelt in a way that is simple and close to the ground, but it also has a lot of efficacy. I just think it's a really nice metaphor. The vibe they're talking about with this album, that coastal mountain vibe, is very much alive in the video and in the song, and again, I can very much hear that spirit in the album, and it's exemplified really nicely here. I think all the videos they've done so far have done a great job of encompassing the themes of the album. Passion with Og de Souza, the Brazilian skateboarder, and then 7-6 Dynamite was filmed at their sort of watering hole. So I like that they're tying in elements of the making of this album into the videos and stuff, and the themes and all that. And I think the song does a nice job in general with its sounds. You know, you have these really sweet acoustic guitars that lead off the track, and then those electric guitars kick in on the chorus, and I suppose that could have gone wrong, but here I feel like it again works really nice. I feel like the lower end guitars add a certain crunch and a certain warmness to everything, and then you have these lead melodies that just grab you by the heart, you know, and they kind of take you off to some place. It feels very much like the passage of time and like looking back, and I don't know, it just kind of evokes that feeling, that wanting to be there for somebody. I feel like just this whole song, this whole video, everything comes together and coalesces in a really beautiful way. And it kind of looks around and accounts for everything. You know, you could read this as some kind of love song, but it also just seems like a reaction to the world around through music. You know, there are a lot of little touches, especially in the verses of this, that I think are really nice and that fit together in really neat ways. It has sort of an everymanish sort of runt-like quality. There's just a wave of heart and authenticity that comes out of this for me in a really wonderful, kind of beautiful way. And, you know, it's Valentine's Day. I thought this might be appropriate for Valentine's Day just because it is such a sweet song, and you could, you know, kind of put it on a loving playlist for somebody. But yeah, just in terms of a simple, well-executed, well-shot, well-thought-out music video, I thought this really hit the mark. And I love that we finally got to see Aaron in action surfing, because if you know AWOLNATION at all, you know that the ocean and surfing is a big inspiration for them. I just really like this band and what they do. I feel like they've got a good creative group group around them. I'm always happy when they come around, and I can never wait to hear more, you know? So if y'all haven't checked out this album yet, go give Here Come the Runts a listen. It's a lot of fun. It's got some hopeful vibes. It's got some heavy vibes. There's a little something for everybody, I think, especially if you're into guitar music. This actually did make me feel better. And that's the power of music, and that's the power of a good music video, too, because from talking about so many movies, clearly the combination of images and sounds is a very powerful sensory experience, and when things come together as harmoniously as they do here, as naturally as they do here, it makes it really compelling for me anyways. Thank you guys for joining me. As usual, you can see the full version of this reaction over on our Patreon, and if you got yourself a Valentine or just a loved one you'd like to appreciate, to show your love to today, maybe just send them that song or something. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.